Hey man,
Hi, Sid. How are you?
great man. Okay, yeah, let's get down to the cricket. I know that you're in a, rush, so let's just get down to it. All right, let's go to the Mumbai versus Daredevils. I was a bit disappointed by this one because I thought Mumbai didn't apply themselves batting wise, and Daredevils squeaked home by 4 wickets. Your thoughts?
Mumbai versus Daredevils.
Yeah, this was in Charger, our favorite pitch.
Yeah, it was a sort of game where Mumbai had to win. A sort of a
Hmm.
scrappy affair, I would say. It was a bit of a scrappy affair. Look,
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
all aware of the demons of Sharjah, and it's a low and slow wicket, and it doesn't really come on for batsmen, especially in this format. Batsmen want to see the ball come on.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
and Sharjah is a sort of wicket where you got to work hard for your runs, and it proved the case. I mean, Delhi was very disciplined with the ball,
Hmm.
restricting, Mumbai to under
Hmm.
140 was a superb effort. And then, uh, credit to Mumbai's bowlers, they made a game of it somewhat. But I mean, the calm
Yeah.
head of I mean, he took them home quite. I'd say comfortably in the end by 4 wickets.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, they
um,
batted sensibly. With a total like that, you don't need to do anything stupid. But my
I
thoughts
would
of
say so. I
140 to
would say so.
150, yeah, I would say 140 to 150 would have been a good score on that pitch. Generally in Charger, that's the way to go.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the next one on the agenda is Chennai versus Rajasthan Royals. Bit of a surprise, but that pitch was a real belter.
Wow, what a game. I mean, just on the basis of entertainment value, this game had it all. I mean, it was a belt of a wicket, but I mean, the way CSK batted, I mean, they applied themselves and then they went hard in the last 5 overs,
Hmm.
and an amazing
Hmm.
innings from Gaikwad up the order, 101. And
Hmm.
looking at that total, I mean, I thought it was beyond Rajasthan. I have to be
Hmm.
honest, but wow,
Hmm.
the way they came out of the blocks, especially those two openers, Lewis and Jaiswal. I mean, they were superb. They set the
Yeah.
platform. Uh, in the
Hmm.
end, it was all a case of one batter getting 60 and the others batting around him, and that player was Dubé. And I thought, especially in Dubé's case, I mean, we all know he has potential. He hasn't really shown it that much, but I think in this
Hmm.
game he really showed what he's capable of. And it turned out to be quite a comfortable chase for Rajasthan in the end.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is your team against Punjab's close affair. I didn't really watch much. I didn't actually watch the highlights of this, and this was actually one match I think I probably wanted to catch up on. 164 for 7 versus 158 for 6. Another match where it's just been lost opportunities for Punjabs, but I know you'll be happy.
Absolutely. Lost opportunities for Punjab. But I'll be honest, it wasn't the easiest pitch to bet on. And looking at the halfway mark, 164 was actually a good total for RCB. I mean,
Very
that
good
was
total on
probably
Charger. That went
that.
Charger. That was a great
I
total on
mean,
Charger.
I mean, look, teams are scoring under 160 in Dubai, and Dubai is a
Yeah,
lot better
yeah.
than Sharjah.
I know,
And
but yeah, Charger. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Charger's a great total, 160. Normally you get 150s, 140s,
absolutely,
130s, whatever.
look,
Yeah.
I think that opening stand from Padikkal and Kohli was good. I felt RCB lost their way
Hmm.
a bit in the middle, but I
Yeah,
mean,
I was surprised when I saw the score of 160. I was very surprised when I saw it. I thought, okay, wow, great batting by Maxwell, it looked like.
but I mean, look, I said this before, and this is the buy of the season, Maxwell. I think he was superb. I mean, he just showed it. He just turned it on again in the
Hmm.
latter over and pushed that score to 164. I mean, which obviously I was happy with, but I mean, I wasn't like
Yeah.
really. convinced it was going to be a winning total, in the sense that I knew Punjab were going to come out hard, and
Mm.
because they win this game, and they actually did do that. I mean, the two openers,
Mm.
KL and Agarwal. But I think
Yeah.
the trick here was to take pace off the ball, definitely. And
Mm.
uh, look, Mayank was hitting it fluidly, but I thought KL, he battled a bit with his timing on this wicket, and he eventually fell
Mm.
in the ninth
Yeah.
over, I think, and that obviously
Yeah.
triggered a bit of a collapse from Punjab, because it's never about what the openers do for Punjab; it's what happens afterwards. And yet again, their
Mm.
middle order was not wanting a guy like Puran. I think he just, I mean, just a season to forget for him. I would say just got to put this one behind him and come back stronger next season. And I mean, there's quite a few decent players in that Punjab lineup. But I think the one blunder they did make is Sid. And I mean, I've watched Aiden Markram a lot. And I mean, if you're not going to open with Markram, you'd rather put him at number. Sorry, what? You'd rather put him at number 3, because I think he's
Mm.
better suited up the order. I mean, obviously it's going to be difficult to dislodge those two openers, but I mean, I thought they missed a trick there. They probably should have brought Markram in, and probably should have left Purin a
Yeah.
little bit later to finish off the game if they
Yeah.
had to. I mean, I was pleased with RCB the way they held their cool there, especially in the end. It could have got
Yeah.
tight, but brilliant bowling from Harsha. I thought he just nailed those death overs yet again. I mean, he was superb. And I thought Maxi all round was probably the difference in both teams, because he changed the momentum of the game in the middle overs for RCB, and I thought that he, went a long way to winning this match.
Yeah. Okay, so we go to my team, KKR versus Sunrisers. As much as I'm happy about the win, it's a bit of a snooze fest, chasing 116, and this is only done by the 20th over.
Absolutely. I mean, I didn't watch this game in full. I watched patches of it, and I watched a bit till the end. I guess it was a bit of a pedestrian chase, eh? I thought probably KKR would have wanted to finish this off inside 15 overs, but I mean, Sunrisers, they're bowling side. They know how to bowl they know how to
Mm.
defend totals, and I think they did quite admirably there. I mean, with whatever they had on the board, which wasn't substantial, but I
Yeah.
mean, they managed to make a game of it. And I thought, yeah, a few loose shots from KKR as well. I thought there were quite a few loose shots from the batsmen, and that made it into a potential banana skin for them. Especially the way
Yeah.
Tripathi went out, and
Yeah.
also sorry, I just can't get the guys or the opener. Aya, I thought his dismissal was
Yeah.
on the loose side as well. But I mean, Jill played well. He was composed, and he got them over the line. So very mature innings from Shubman Gill.
Hmm. Okay, the next one is Chennai and Daredevils. Low scoring affair. Surprised this even went down to the
Yeah,
wire,
we've seen
but
quite a few
so the
this week, eh?
Chennai. Yeah, they won this by 3 wickets, the Delhi Capitals. Interesting.
I guess very interesting game. I think both sides they wanted to try and get as much out of this game, but I would say in a way it wasn't too, you know, when we're talking about the standings at the end of the day, the way it is now, there wasn't really much to take from it, but I would say more
I
more more
know. I think it
confidence
was
thing,
for
and
the
I
top
think
two. I think it
yeah,
was from one versus two top spots. Yeah, so more who can be in the top two. But I think it was just by default. They'll end up being in the top two because of net run rates and all that sort of thing.
perhaps so. But I thought Delhi again, their bowling was very impressive in this game.
Yeah, they've
They
been very good.
especially the quicks, they were superb, and
Yeah, no, yeah,
I think they
yeah,
I think they used the short ball quite well in this game. They really troubled the
Chennai,
CSK
Chennai, yeah.
batsmen, and look, it wasn't a good it wasn't a sort of good innings to watch from CSK. It was quite pedestrian. in the end, and then eventually they
Yeah.
managed to scrape past that 130 odd, and but I mean, Delhi, they also made quite heavy weather of the total. I felt, but in the middle order got them through, especially Hitmaya. I thought his
Mm,
innings probably took the game away from CSK. So I think all in all, it was
yeah.
a close affair against two sides that were probably evenly matched.
Mm, mm. Okay, now Rajasthan against one of my other teams, Mumbai. Probably Mumbai's best performance in a long time, but very much needed because of net run rate purposes. Won it by 8 wickets with 70 balls remaining.
Yeah, this is a strange one, eh? Because the way Rajasthan played in the last match against CSK, I mean, I actually
Yeah,
fancied
yeah,
them
yeah.
to do quite well in this game, but geez, I mean,
Yeah, they
this
have a
was a
good
total
record against
mismatch.
Mumbai, actually. Yeah, they normally have a good record against Mumbai. Do you know that? I was quite surprised when I saw this sort of performance. But I think, yeah, it's a dreaded Charger. Does its tricks again.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, let's face it. I mean, although Sharjah is bad, I mean, it's never 90 for 9 wicket in 20 overs. So, I
Yeah,
mean, there's
yeah,
definitely a problem with application there.
yeah,
And
yeah,
geez, this was a total mismatch, man. It was really,
yeah.
really, it was a total mismatch. I would say you could see the gulf in class here between both sides. Really,
One side
it
was
was really
desperate
shocking.
and the one side not so desperate.
Absolutely. The gulf in class is quite wide between these two teams, and it was actually shown in
Yeah.
this game. Mumbai, a great performance from them, and probably too little, too late in the end. But I
Mm,
mean, this was the performance that their fans were crying out at the start of the tournament, and eventually they
yeah.
found a purpose that suited them, and boy, did it suit them in this game. They won this game at a canter.
Yes. So we get to your team against Sunrisers. A bit of a surprise win for Sunrisers, but I guess they were probably due a few wins. But this was a bit of a frustrating one because I felt that this was one that got away from you, in the sense that if had AB batted earlier, this would have been a routine win. And it kind of reminds me more of a Punjab kind of performance. But though I don't want to make comparisons, you all have been way better.
Yeah, I mean, look, it wasn't the easiest wicket to bat on. Let's face it. I mean, we spoke about this off air. 141. I think RCB's batting lineup, they probably would have backed themselves to chase that one. I would
Mm,
say
mm,
relatively quite
mm.
easily, but I guess what happened here was they tried to experiment with a lot of things. They tried to bring Christian in as
Oh,
a pinch hitter, and it didn't work out at number three. And
you've been, yeah, yeah.
I think
Mm,
they're going to
mm,
revert from that now. They're
yeah,
not going to tinker too much with the team after this one. And look,
yeah,
there was too much for AB to do in the end. And I think as great a player as AB is, I think you really can't ask him to you really can't expect AB to be Superman all the time and
yeah,
expect him to bail you out. And uh, I think the turning point in this game, which was quite frustrating, was Maxwell's run out. Because I feel
yeah,
if Maxwell
yeah.
had been there till the end, this probably would have been game over
Routine, yeah,
for
yeah.
Sunrisers. So yeah, I mean, credit to them. I mean, they held their nerve. But the turning point, I would say, certainly was Maxwell's run out. And I didn't actually get to watch much of this game, but I mean, I obviously kept in touch with scores, and yeah, it was a little bit frustrating because I mean, the halfway mark, 141. I mean, I was quite happy with that score, chasing
Yeah, yeah,
142. So
yeah.
little did I know that the
I,
management made a blunder here in chopping and changing that batting line because I thought Bharat was quite well. He did quite well so far in the tournament, the second half of the tournament, and they should have,
yeah.
trusted him and kept him at number three. And
Mm,
yeah, it was too much of experimenting in a game, but I mean, I guess they wanted to try something. I just hope it doesn't come back to obviously bite them. But they
mm.
definitely wouldn't want to
Oh,
revert
well,
in this to this in the future. But I think the
yeah.
experiment with Christian failed in this game.
Had you all won this game, would you all have been able to pip Chennai in that table? Because I think you all didn't win this, and I think you all are in third position. Let me look at this table because I was quite fascinated by that actually. Um, I think you all are on 18 points, isn't it? double check. Don't want to play the
Yes,
wrong
absolutely.
information.
They
Whilst
would
oh
have probably been.
yeah, y'all would have pipped Chennai. Had y'all won this game, y'all would have been second on the table because Chennai ended up on 18 points. Y'all are on 18 points. Ay, 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 ay. Yeah, we'll have to discuss this closer to how the results pan out in the playoffs. So let's get to the next one. I just realized that now because this is, yeah, this could be a bit of a talking point. Okay, the next one is CSK against Punjab. Wow, this was one hell of a performance by Punjab. I enjoyed Rahul batting. He deserved 100.
It certainly deserved 100. I thought, he showed what he's capable of in this game, and I mean, credit to him. I mean, he took the game by the scruff of it, and he tried to boost the net run rate of Punjab, which they actually did. But I mean, eventually in the end, it didn't count for much. But yeah, I thought Punjab, they had this performance in them,
Yeah,
in the earlier stages of the tournament. But unfortunately,
yeah,
inconsistency let them down quite badly
mm,
in
that's pretty good. Yeah,
in this season. So that's eventually what cost them in the end. And I think there was an over reliance on KL. I mean, although he's a super player, I think there was an over reliance on KL and over
yeah,
reliance on Agarwal,
yeah,
and there wasn't too much in the cupboard from the rest of the team.
yeah. I
So
mean,
that was
yeah,
obviously the
I
detriment.
don't. Yeah. I don't think the bowling was bad. I thought there were some good things for Punjab, but I think it's another frustrating season because they could have qualified for this playoff. As much as I love KKR, but being a fair person, I think they could have pipped my team KKR had they taken some of those wins on the taking,
Absolutely.
and
I
then
mean, uh, what's frustrating, and when they look at that log, they beat KKR, and they were probably could have been in the running for that playoff spot had they won
yeah,
maybe one more game. So yeah, I guess, geez, man, frustrating one for them because if KKR didn't, I mean, if KKR had lost one of those games, they probably would have been in the hunt for that fourth spot. So I guess they didn't rack up enough wins. They didn't rack up maybe 2 or 3 wins in a row, which probably would have given them that sort of consistency for that playoff spot. So yeah, I mean that fourth spot was probably ready up for grabs for anyone at the moment. So I think the top three will
yeah.
probably settle for quite a while now.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
but then if you're not going to take your opportunities, you don't really deserve to make that fourth spot. The next one is my team against Rajasthan Royals, and wow, this was quite a performance and a half. 86 run win. I also didn't expect such a big defeat of Rajasthan Royals, but I guess it was needed considering. Well, we'll get to the next one. That's why I'll say that particular segment. So yeah, that's a great performance by my team.
yeah, man. I mean, this probably was a complete performance from KKR. I think it was probably one of the best performances in years. I think batting and bowling,
Yeah.
they were just on the money. They knew exactly what they needed to
Yeah.
do, and they had to demolish
Hmm.
Rajasthan. And that's exactly
Yeah.
what they did. They demolished Rajasthan in this game. It was an annihilation.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
mean, with that net run rate, it was going to be difficult for anyone to catch up with them
Hmm.
in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why one's got to admire the next match. That's why I didn't want to say anything more because that's where we get into Mumbai versus Sunrisers yesterday. Mumbai made 235. I was hoping they would have made 300. And as much as I love KKR, they're my favorite team, right? Don't get me wrong. But just as a neutral, I wanted to see if Mumbai could have achieved some miracle, get to 300, and then maybe try and restrict Sunrisers to that, one under 130 maybe. Just see it as a nail biter. Of course, I want my team to go through, but I want to see how, like such a nail biter where with Sunrisers just get past the 130 and then my team goes through. Just I don't know. I call it like one of those romantic things, but it's a bit of a you know deadbeat kind of situation. Once they made 235 because they had to ball them out for 60, never gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, this was a batting masterclass from Mumbai. I mean, let's take nothing away from it. I thought
Yeah,
Ishan's innings was brutal. I mean, 84, 32. I thought he
yeah,
deserved a century, and he could have got one.
mm,
And Surya as
yeah,
well. I thought both their innings were like the landmarks for that huge total in the end. And at one stage, I mean, they were looking like 250, 260. I mean, it was getting crazy there out there for the
Yeah,
the
running over the
Sunrise
West Ham.
bowlers. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
man. I was
absolutely. And
hoping.
look, as we say, too little, too late in the end. But I mean, they did what they had to do, hey. And I mean, we all
Yeah,
know the capabilities of Mumbai, and they showed it in this game. And
but
I mean,
what a pitch for batting.
in the back of my mind, I knew they were going to come hard. And I guess
Of course.
when you're playing without pressure,
Hmm.
you sometimes get that beast of a performance, and this was a beast of a performance with the bat from MI. And look, Sunrisers, I was quite impressed with the way they actually tried to
Yeah.
chase us down in the end, hey. But
Hmm. Hmm.
unfortunately, there was too many for them in the end. But I think 193 for eight, they really can't be
Yeah.
embarrassed about that. I
There's
thought
no point.
they batted quite
Yeah.
superbly in that game. I mean, on against any other opponent, 193 would have been enough. But I
Yeah.
mean, 230 was probably way beyond their reach. But yeah, I mean, commanding performance from MI, but too little, too late in the end.
Yeah, man. That was one hell of a pitch for batting. Hopefully the World Cup
One
pitches are
hell of a
like that.
pitch, one hell of a pitch. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we could do the final league
It's
match. Your
unfortunate.
team against.
It's unfortunate that
Sorry?
we're not going to get any more games in Abu Dhabi for the playoffs because I thought that pitch
Yeah.
would have been a real run fest in the playoffs. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it is what it is, eh?
It is what it is. Okay, the final league match is your team against Daredevils. A bit of a interesting one. I was like, don't get me wrong, I do support Daredevils. And they're one of the teams, one of the few teams that are part of my list of teams. But I thought this was one they kind of messed up because of the extras at the end. But credit to Bharat, he smacked a six, and then we had this discussion on WhatsApp where Sunil Gavaskar was making this "you say the line." He kept saying it. It was a bit bizarre about the
The
bowler,
one that
where the bowler
laughs
was.
the loudest. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, incredible effort from. I think uh, RCB have found a star here, a local player, and
Hmm.
I think he's a perfect foil at number three. I think he adds something to this lineup. It makes this lineup look a little bit more intimidating for the opponents. And then with Maxwell coming in at three, at four, and then you got AB at five.
Hmm.
That's a hell of a
Hmm.
top five, for any
Yeah.
team.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
look, we can only hope this form continues. But I mean that finish at the end was amazing. I mean the way he managed to, all that chirping from the bowler. I thought it just fired him up a bit there, and I was got one over the bowler there because
I didn't
I
actually
think
see
there
him
was a lot of
chirping.
mind games in the end.
I just saw him smiling. I just saw him smiling a bit naughtily, but I didn't really see him. I must have missed that.
Yeah, but I can't praise this player anymore because I think he's quite calm at the wicket. He's quite
Hmm.
composed and he knows exactly what his role is. So this is a real
Hmm.
find for RCB, and I hope they can hang on to him in the next season because he's really going to be one for the future, definitely.
Yeah, he might be in the right to match card or something like that. Don't know if they'll retain him, but he might be in that right to match card. Okay,
I would
so
think
we'll
they'd
get
want to
to the.
retain him. I would think there's two players that they probably want to retain badly in this obviously auction going forward is Bharat and Maxwell because I mean that partnership was imposing yesterday of
I think you're
107.
allowed to retain three, isn't it? I think you're allowed to retain three, and obviously Cody will be obviously number one in the list because he's the. Oh, I forgot, it won't be captain, so who knows how they'll do it. But obviously they always retain Cody. They're always loyal towards Cody. Then there'll be Maxwell, and then there'll be maybe Butter. So you can retain three maybe, and then have two right to match cards. Could be that way.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we get to the playoffs. Tomorrow is Daredevils in Chennai in Dubai, which is a much better venue than Charger. My prediction, and this is not me being biased towards Chennai, but my prediction is Daredevils. I feel that their bowling will be too much for Chennai, and I think they'll probably want to make up for yesterday. So I think they'll be, and also Chennai not really doing as well as they should be. But then, luckily for Chennai, even if they lose tomorrow, they'll still play between my team and your team, but which we'll get to just now.
Absolutely. I definitely fancy Delhi in this game because they're playing in Dubai. And with that pace
Hmm.
attack, I think that pace attack, the Dubai pitch suits them to an extent. So
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
guess, this one probably is going to go in the favor of Delhi. And look, then you come to the dreaded eliminator, which is a sort of game which I feel is not going to be very high scoring in
Hmm.
Sharjah, and it never is. I think the team that bats first is really going to have the advantage there because batting second is going to be tough. Batting second is really going to be tough in Sharjah. So
Interest.
I'm looking at the balance of
Interesting.
both teams. I'm looking at the balance of both teams.
Okay.
I think RCB has a slight edge here because they have momentum, and I think they because they won in Sharjah last time out. They've got an
Yeah,
idea on how
then
to
they
bowl
won
on that wicket.
against Mumbai. I think they won against Mumbai the last time in charge, isn't it?
Punjab.
Oh yes, good memory. I forgot about them. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was that.
I just feel the death bowling of RCB has improved quite tremendously, and I think they probably one of the better bowling sides in the tournament so far. If you look
Yeah.
at the second leg of it, so yeah, I fancy them. I fancy them.
I tell you why I'm gonna go against your prediction, and it's not because I'm a KKR fan. It's
No,
because
for
if I
sure.
look at it, no, but because I look at it in the sense that before your team played against Daredevils, I was quite bullish on this matchup. My team versus your team. I thought it was 60-40, but since your team won yesterday, I make it 52-48 in terms of margins. And I'll tell you why, because my team has been playing quite a bit in Charger. They've been winning there, so it's more like a home ground, which one of the Crickbuzz commentators had said. So, and I think it was quite funny that the teams win batting first in charge have been winning because I've been noticing teams chasing a charge have been winning because they've been chasing these low total, like the 130, the 120. So, yeah, I see where you're coming from. The team batting first in charge will win, but I think if my team had to bowl first and restrict you to maybe the 120, 130, I think my team could still get those runs. But I think, yeah, 150 is must on that kind of pitch. So it'll be a very good match. And I do fancy
Look,
my team
yeah,
to.
yeah, it is going to be a very good match. I think
Yeah.
the one key here is the wicket of Maxwell, and I think he's a prize wicket for the opposition at the moment. And
Mhm. Especially
if
if you
Maxwell
are
goes
chasing,
early,
especially
then
if you are chasing. Yeah.
absolutely. And if Maxwell goes early, then it does send a bit of a shockwave through the dressing room.
Mm.
So I think that's the big wicket. And I think in terms
But
of RCB, I
then,
think the big wicket is Iyer, definitely. I think he's the big wicket in the
also,
KKR.
Aya. Yeah, Aya. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You mean KKR? Yeah, Aya.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
correct. Yeah,
Iyer is a
Aya.
big wicket there. And I mean, although I like Jill, but I feel he's a better batsman. He's a sort of batsman you can control. Whereas Aya is a little bit more fluent, and he plays
Mm.
a lot more shots. So he's a little bit more difficult to contain. So I think those are the prize wickets
Yeah,
in
but
in
also,
this contest. And yeah, it's gonna be a cracking game.
but the fact that they made 170 in Sharjah is quite impressive because you know how delightful that pitch has been. That's why I was surprised. And I mean, that score against Rajasthan was 170 plus is a lot of runs in Sharjah, about 20 runs too many. And they make that against your team, with due respect, I think. If they couldn't defend that, I'd be very worried.
Yeah, as I'm saying, I mean, I don't think RCB would really bother. I mean, chasing or setting score, but I would say they're quite comfortable with. I think they back their bowlers at the moment. They back their bowlers.
Hmm.
If they set a total 165 or 160, 165, they back their bowlers to defend it. Whereas,
Yeah,
sorry, in the past, they probably didn't, back their bowlers that much
yeah.
to defend that sort of
Hmm.
total. But I think now
Hmm.
they have a lot more confidence in their bowling.
Yeah. You all have a much better bowling lineup, so I think. But let's just talk about a permutation, if that's okay, because I don't think we'll be able to talk about these permutations because the next playoff would be on Wednesday. Actually, Monday will be my team against your team. On Wednesday will be the probables. If you're okay doing a quick probable, so we're doing this probable whereby Chennai is going to lose the first play of tomorrow, so they'll play against either RCB or KKR. But let's say if one of our teams win, I'm sure they wouldn't mind playing Chennai compared to Daredevils, right? Or unless they're just happy just to have a yeah, I think and then I wouldn't I think my team wouldn't mind playing against Chennai hypothetically, and then they'll then play against Daredevils in the finals because they've actually beaten Daredevils before, so that'd be a pretty nice way of KKR to win the tournament. That's my way
Yeah,
of
I
wrapping
mean,
it up. And
look, just to wrap it up here, I mean, this is the IPL, and you got to beat the best teams to win the tournament. So, uh,
hmm,
you just gotta adapt. I guess whether it's gonna be Delhi or CSK, but I mean, we fancy it's gonna be CSK in that in that second playoff, and Delhi to go
hmm,
through to the final. I mean, in the
hmm,
first one. So
hmm.
look, it's all about applying yourself. But I think the team that wins the eliminator would probably have an edge because they've already played in Sharjah, so they'll be acclimatized to conditions. Whereas whoever loses the first playoff will be coming from Dubai, so they'll have to acclimatize a little bit more. So they'll be more used to the conditions. So yeah, I fancy whoever
Hmm.
wins that eliminator can win the second playoff and go to the final.
Yeah, I think if you all hypothetically beat my team, you all would play hypothetically Chennai, but I think it'll be more of a revenge match because Chennai did beat you all. I think it was also in charge, I think, when Chennai beat you all. So I think it'll be like a revenge sort of match. And I think if you all win that, then you all have already beaten Daredevil, so I think you all would have that momentum going to the finals. Then I think you all wouldn't mind playing as Daredevil in the finals, even though Daredevil would have been great. But if you all had to choose out of the many teams you all want to be playing in the finals, yeah, I think Daredevils, in that sense, you couldn't complain. It's probably your best chance.
Yeah, look, man, it's never easy, Sid. I mean,
Mm.
I've watched these playoff games last year, and it can be nerve-wracking. It really can be nerve-wracking for a
Yeah, of
fan.
course.
And look, I just feel whoever wins the eliminator would have the edge over the opponent that
Yeah,
comes from the first playoff. So, yeah, whoever wins that
yeah.
game is, I fancy them to go to the final, definitely.
But I've just realized Charger would suit Chennai, so I'm not gonna really write them off, even though I would fancy my team still to beat Chennai, but it will never be easy because Charger would suit Chennai to the T there. But I think that's, yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
you can't really write off any team, but I would just say, in terms of
Hmm.
conditions, the team that's playing in Sharjah, they'll be playing in Sharjah for 2 times in 3 days, so they would probably have the edge
Hmm.
in terms of conditions,
Yeah.
you
Hmm.
know,
Hmm. Hmm.
and being able to acclimatize the conditions and being able to
Yeah.
back their bowling line and the conditions. So, yeah, definitely, I would back that team to get to the final, and yeah, as we predicted it's going to be Delhi.
Yeah. Any final words before we wrap up this discussion?
Yeah, I guess if it's going to be Delhi or RCB to win this tournament, it's going to be a great story to tell. I think new winners, and uh, that could be an electric final, RCB versus Delhi, and obviously I'd back my team to get over the line there against Delhi
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I feel our bowling attack has improved quite tremendously. So.
Mhm.
Uh, I can see the story with CSK as well in terms of this could be Dhoni's last IPL as a
Mm.
player. So
Mm.
there's a good story there as well. And KKR, I mean, I got nothing against the team, but I really can't see much of a story there. But I know it'll be a great one if you all do get over the
It'll
line.
be the
But
third IPL. It'll be a hat trick of
it will be the
IPL in
third
total.
IPL.
Back to
But
back here.
I can see a great story if RCB or DC really win this one. A new winners, yeah, it could be an incredible
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, they would be definitely. I think yeah, there'd be new winners. But let's say hypothetically, if my team does go to the final, I expect them to win it. So my winner is KKR already for the tournament. Should they beat your team and then beyond, I think I see that kind of scenario happening because once they've plus the first hurdle. I mean, they'll want to have revenge against Chennai. I mean, they're so used to charge. I mean, it's become like their home ground. So that's my
I see we
prediction. If
got a Bharat
Chennai,
fan here. I just got to comment on this.
yeah,
Bharat the
yeah,
superstar, absolutely. So I just hope
yeah.
Bharat can keep his form going, and I hope to see him in that final in Dubai on the 15th of October.
Yeah, man, it should be a classic. So, in a nutshell, we're wrapping it up. Your winners for the IPL are your team, and mine is KKR. Great chatting, and we shall chat again soon.
All right, so take care and yeah, enjoy it. Cheers.
Yeah, man.
Cheers, man.